Hello from fans, welcome to part 3 of my SARA discussions and theory video. There's a lot to unpack. We are looking at some of the situations and conversations that were had with SARA and around her to try to see if we can unearth some hidden intentions or find out if she made any, obvious mistakes before. Thank you to the new followers. Thank you to all the new subscribers. And thank you for tuning into this video. So let's get into the first part. Of course, I don't want anything to happen to Ethan, but I kind of want to know if she had killed him, would they have really went home? Like, I really want to know. But I'm glad that they were able to save him. Sorry that Nathan had to die. Sorry that she's been manipulated like that. And it's a shame that it came to all this. But that's why you have to think for yourself and really, make the decisions that boy was making when he really just stuck to his morals and decided on his better judgment. I mean, SARA was definitely not using her better judgment. Now, look, here comes Father Khatri. And watching this again, he was not shocked at all. Like, when you see somebody bleeding like that, you would run up to him and try to help him. He's just looking, and then he has this brood on his face. And so watching this again, I didn't know how she got tied up in the basement. I thought he went and caught her, but I see here now he pretty much just grabbed her. And I skipped a couple of scenes here because we see him walk from behind the barn, and I guess he already got her, put her in the basement at this point. And I didn't realize that first time watching it. And everybody's like, where did she go? Where was she? From the Matthews family. And in this clip here, when Jim asks Boyd and Father Khatri where she was at and what if she comes back, he looks right at Father Khatri like he already knew she had him or he had her. So after that episode, SARA was missing for a while. Nobody knew where she was. And then she sort of pops up here in this scene where Father Khatri had finished his sermon with a house full of people, and then he decides to go into the basement, and the big reveal is SARA's down there tied up. And everybody had kind of been wondering where she was. I did think she ran into the woods. I thought she did, and I thought he might have went and got her back, but we know he grabbed her right there from the farm area. And so, he goes into this whole big Book 74 thing, and I'm guessing that now the reason why he felt like this, or she has something else going on, or that she might be able to help everyone, is because Nathan must have told him more than just, hey, my sister left the door open in the clinic. He must have, went into detail about her voices and went into detail about, who she was talking to, and that convinced Father Khatri enough to make the decision that they need her to get out of here. So in this next scene, we hear her talk about the voices again, and she says they.
They said they wanted to help, that they'd been here a long time, and they'd been waiting for someone to come who would hear them, someone who could help them.
Help them do what?
Help them escape. Help them go home. They said they were just like us.
But why? Why did you believe them?
Because they told me things they couldn't know.
So there it is, the manipulation again. But see, I want to know when she specifically said 2 cars came before and everyone died, but it was because of the people in the cars. So once again, having to try to translate to what she's saying, is she talking about Toby and Jade, or is she talking about Victor and his family, Victor's mom and Christopher, or just Christopher came in one car, Victor and his mom came in the other, or sort of what did they do that got everybody killed? Could it be, I'm guessing there wasn't these level of precautions that the town was taking. Did they, go into the caves? Did they run into the woods? Did they solve the mystery? Were they getting ready to escape? We know that Victor's mom went into the tree, but it seems like there was a lot more information back then because she knew about the bottle tree. She knew to go through it. And so there was all these things that they knew. And so if they knew it, could it have been that they were the ones who caused this place to be trapped in this sort of loop or in this isolation since they had so much information? Could it have been? So look, there she goes with that they again, and I wonder what else she drew. Right, she's definitely a sloppy drawer. Like she took her it looks about 6 times for her to get this one image, and even when she drew it, I mean, I don't know how Father Kotri even made that connection. Where man, she was drawing that was what you call a rough sketch, but she made the connection. She turned Father Kotri into a believer, and I guess from this next scene, that's where he went and told Boyd like, "Hey, we got something going on. We might have some information." Now, like a flashback about when the first two cars came, could they have also been susceptible to the voices, and could they have also been drawn? We know Victor draws a lot now, and we are very invested in his drawings. Could his drawings have came true and everyone believed that, let's say, Victor was like, let's say, like a prophet, and they followed him to this place, or once he was in this place he started drawing and pointing out the bottle tree, pointing them to the caves, and almost solved the mystery in a short time? We don't know. So I fast forward a little bit. We know Father Kotri dies. He did tell Boyd that Sarah was in the basement, and Boyd goes and gets her. They talk. He takes her to this cabin in the woods. Now, they don't really talk about this cabin in the woods much, but Boyd really doesn't talk about how he knew about this cabin. It seems very well put together. I mean, I'm guessing they had to hide in different places, but I don't think they would hide in this cabin with it being so much in the woods. Plus, the windows aren't covered, and it doesn't really seem that secure looking at it. And so we know from there, they go on to another mission.
Let me ask you a question. You say those voices told you that killing those people would get everyone home. You ever stop to think that maybe they were lying?
I don't want to talk about that.
And see, this is what all our fans be saying. Like, why does nobody want to talk to each other? And more importantly, why does nobody want to talk to Boyd, right? Boyd is the only one who's doing anything.
That those people were coming. They told me that there would be 2 cars. And they said that if I didn't do what they said...
Then what?
They said my brother would die, okay? Nathan had a theory about this place. If we tried to leave, if we pushed too hard, then something would push back.
So how did Nathan know that? This is the second or third time we hear Nathan's name in response to what's going on. He knew that this place pushed back. He knew that there were cicadas. And so I wish we had got to see more inside Nathan's mind. So here they're at the bottle tree. And if you notice, the bottle tree does not have a faraway tree in the middle. Now, Sarah reacts very violently to this. She says she can hear the voices. And we know that from later that there's notes in there with dates, and so guessing that there was events in this place and someone put those dates in the bottle as remembrance. Sarah has another seizure, so this is the second seizure she has. She wakes up in the tent, and Boyd sort of unpacking what's going on right before they get dragged away. So Boyd does manage to pull down one of the bottles, and here in this clip he says that it says 1864 in the bottle. Now we know that this date is significant. We've seen that written on the steps of the tower that Tabitha saw in the dream. So we're getting some overlap here. So we know that's a significant date in the show. And then we get a little bit of back and forth where Sarah is explaining what voice she heard this time. And us as the fans know that she heard Boyd's wife, Abby, her voice. And we find out that she's talking about Mr. Fish and Loaves. And so I guess that's something that only Boyd and his family know. Sarah couldn't have possibly known that. But if you think back, Sarah did bring up Ellis. She said that she thinks Ellis might be proud of him and heard what she had to do with his wife. Now, she might also have known this or have talked to Ellis off camera that we don't know about. But maybe not, though. So then here they get dragged. And here's where I was saying my theory was they get dragged to a faraway tree. And here, Ethan pretty much spills the beans and says, yeah, this is a quest, and talks about the giant spiders. And so we didn't know that at the time, but when we see them come out of the tent, they're spider webs. So we assume that it had to be a giant spider. But the only spiders that we see are the small spiders.
Shh. We're okay. We're okay.
Now, this next scene is what had pretty much everybody thinking it was aliens. They saw the bright light above the tent. We still don't know what this was. I mean, we're guessing that it is the light from the tower, which is the lighthouse. So it is light, but they wouldn't be that close to it. It would still be in the distance and covered by the mountains, because when they came out of the tent, they had to walk sort of up a mountain, and then they were able to look down at the tower. And so here they are outside of the tent with the spider webs everywhere. And we did hear Ethan say that giant spiders, scarecrows, and things like that. But we haven't seen anything that would say that it was a physical representation of a giant spider. We didn't hear that chilling noise, nothing like that. But we did understand that there were spiders here when he steps on the spider hole. Now, I said I believe they were pulled into a faraway tree, taken to another place that you can't walk to, and or just a flip. It's the flip. It's the opposite. So it still looks like where they were, but when they go through the tree, it's like a flip. It's in this other place that we don't know. And so, she's questioning him about Mr. Fish and Loaves. He talks about he is Mr. Fish and Loaves, and there's only two people that would have known that. Now Sarah did talk to Ellis, and Ellis could have told her the whole story about her dad, but we've never seen Ellis and Sarah talk. But it is possibly that she knew the story, she heard what happened, and so she could have more information she's leading on.
Who's Mr. Fish and Loaves?
It's me. Only two people who would have known that name is Ellis.
And your wife. Do you think she...
What? What are you asking? Did my dead wife send you a message? Is that what you want to know?
You brought me out here because you thought I could help, okay? Look where we are. Whoever or whatever that voice was, it told us to go back. It told us what would happen if we stayed out here.
Well, unless it told...
So look, Abby's voice leads him to, I guess, where the spiders came from. And in this, but this has to be a vision, right? And we can't really tell if Sarah at the same time, if she's seeing all this. She's definitely playing along with this, but we don't know if she's seeing this as well, because she doesn't move, and she's just kind of letting him go. And we know that people have had visions, so this would have been technically the only vision that Boyd had. But in reality, he steps onto the spider hole. But we know that fears that people have can hurt them. We saw the cicadas hurt them, and now we're guessing the entity made himself into spiders, or made them into spiders. And then we see the boy in white again after this. Now the spiders did bite him, and it clearly took an effect on his body after he was bit, because he definitely wasn't able to, make it through, the terrain. He was winded, so there was some type of effect going on with his body. I don't know if he just lost the will after seeing Abby. He just started breaking down. And I'm sure that's what this place would do to people. If you see like your wife, it would just anxiety, panic attacks. I mean, they're in the woods. He's feeling lost. He's going in circles. I mean, there's a lot going through his mind right now. Nothing's making sense to him. So here's what I was saying before. They climbed up a hill. And if you remember in season 2, when Sarah was looking out of the tower, it was covered by mountains. And so there you see the lighthouse, and then pretty much you see the boy in white. So every time he gets to the lighthouse or anybody gets close, the boy in white does appear. But not like in season 2 where he said this is the only way. He sends them into the faraway tree and sends them someplace else. And he does say Nathan was right about this place. It's angry, and then he points out the faraway tree. Now, that faraway tree was not there a second ago, so he made that faraway tree appear. And then, as we know, Boyd goes in the tree, and we don't know if Sarah goes into the tree. But I would say one clue would be wherever that backpack is where Sarah went. I do believe that she could have walked back or possibly went to the lighthouse. We don't know, but a lot of good information here. I wanted to do a real deep dive onto Sarah and the character that she is, and see just if she's lying, if she's just crazy, if she was really hearing voices. But thank you guys for watching this full video. I did a real deep dive on this, and we got more character breakdowns coming. So stay tuned. Please hit that like and subscribe. I'm the Movie Guru, and I'll catch you on the next video.